welcome back to the Shacknews Awards. We are giving out all sorts of awards. Some of them, I think we might be the only outlet that even do this every year. This is one of them. It's the best water of the year, 2024. So to be included in this category, you had to have shipped a game that features water. And this can be water that you swim in, water that you drink, water that's just in a bottle that has really cool physics. It can be water that actually informs the locomotion of a game. So let's get to the nominees, and we'll chat about them, then we'll vote, and then we will shake our fists in derision at each other. First up, Another Crab's Treasure, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Stalker 2, Astrobot, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and last but not least, Dragon's Dogma 2. Who would like to talk about the water in Another Crab's Treasure? I think TJ, you feel strongly about the water in this game.
Yeah, like we almost always talk about how clean and beautiful water is when it comes to this conversation. The water is dirty and shitty in Another Crab's Treasure. It is full of plastics, full of junk, full of treasures for these fish to try to make into something that makes them happy. And it works out poorly for most of them. And I don't know, like when you have a game that's always underwater all the time, I think there are ways that you can make that fun, and then there's ways that you can make that horrible. And I think that Another Crab's Treasure does a good job of not making a game that's like entirely a water level. It's enjoyable. It's not hard to traverse. It's not annoying to traverse. Being able to like jump and use currents to jump around further or move about in the water is pretty fun. And like functionally, visually, it's just like it's a neat setup. And I think it's bold of them to like make a water world that's like not beautiful. It's pretty downtrodden. And in fact, they actually kind of put a layer of beauty underneath the trash that makes it kind of all the more tragic.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great social commentary on the state of our actual oceans.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of plastic in the water. But no, that's solid. Although the microplastics, they kind of rub me the wrong way. You know why. So Ozzy, you're kind of the patron saint of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth here. What makes this water so great?
I really enjoyed the water in Costa del Sol and in the boat ride to Costa del Sol. But there are also other sections of the world, whether you're traveling through Junon or a couple of the other regions, where you come across several bodies of water, and they are just incredibly detailed, just like the rest of the world. We put up Rebirth also for best graphics. That's so right. I'm just gonna speak to the water physics as well. They're just beautifully rendered and beautifully reactive. They put a lot of attention to detail into this game, and I'll put up its water.
Nice. Cool. I saw Greg run out of his room. Anyway,
Greg can agree with me that the water looks tremendous, and like across that whole world.
Yeah, like you'd be surprised how many like coastal cities there are in this world too. I mean, there's multiple cities that outline a coast and looks gorgeous. You may not directly interact with the water there, but it's still pretty to look at, like Costa del Sols.
Does the Shinra company do any offshore drilling?
It does not, but you would think.
It does not, because the oil in this game is the planet's energy instead. So like they just, it's one of those.
But they are looking for new places to drill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Maybe off the coast of Costa del Sol. Next up, we have Stalker 2, which Bill Lavoie has uploaded a clip to Shacknews Cortex for anyone who wants to see just how solid the water looks, and also how solid the rain mechanic is, and how rain interacts with water surfaces. I think, Bill, you are highlighting not just this game, but also just how detailed Unreal Engine 5 can be.
Yeah.
And this is one of those games where it really showcases that.
I think, I was actually going to say this water has been brought to you by Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
It's not just the look. I know that we look at water as, sometimes we look at it from a gameplay perspective. Sometimes it's graphical fidelity. In this case, it's also sound. If you get a chance to listen to that clip, is hearing the sound of the rain, but then also hearing the, like the plop, plop, plop as I walk through the puddle, and just the way that it's all cohesive. The ray tracing that you get from the skybox essentially bouncing off the water as well. So it's, a lot of games go with gameplay mechanics. In this case, the graphical fidelity, the sound, I just think it's one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's also used as like a navigation tool insofar as because it's set in this, like, I guess, post-apocalyptic style world, the water, you can't navigate through it unless it's ankle or shin height. If it's any deeper, you start freezing to death and then eventually drown. So it helps funnel the gameplay through to areas, as opposed to just being out.
Creates choke points and conflict, because obviously, like, as Stalker 2 has different zones. They're using water, like we talked previously about another game that I didn't feel really used the right way to sort of stop the player from going certain places early in the game, but this is done with an environment, so you can see the environment, it is right there, but they're using like a natural water in a natural way to sort of like keep you.
Absolutely. There were instances where I was fighting along like a sort of archipelago type situation where there were only little islands that I could hide behind with trees on them whilst I was getting shot, or there were some sections where a train was sort of half collapsed into the water and I had to jump across the carriages, else risk drowning whilst also getting shot. So it's a way to break up the environment, and it also looks good, like Phil said.
I had my back pushed against the water in a gunfight, and that was terrifying because I'm like, I don't have anywhere else to retreat to. Like I'm boxed in here. Like I can't go through this deep water, and I'm stuck right in it. So in that way, it does include gameplay, but mostly for me, it's just the way it looks, the way it sounds. I think it looks fantastic.
Sitting around a campfire, listening to the rain come down on like a tin shed roof.
Cozy.
Beautiful.
I believe are your words, Sam.
Nothing
Cozy.
about Stalker 2 is cozy.
But that is
Rainy day.
Correct. Asif is correct.
Sorry, you are overruled.
If you can forget,
no coziness in that world.
but if you can just forget for a moment that you are in this post-apocalyptic world through the use of the sound effects of the rain, there is that sort of cozy element for a second before you go, oh wait, no, hold up. There's a dangerous emission coming.
There's a ball of electricity that's about to kill me. That's just coming right for
distraction.
me. And then there's like radiation that's gonna kill me, like emissions. Like, I don't know. It's like you have these. It's like the rain in Breath of the Wild. Right when it starts to rain, you're like, oh look, it's raining, and then 2 seconds later, lightning bolt hits you.
Exactly. It's
like
it's that slim window where you go, oh,
there's a clip, it's not mine, there's a clip online of someone who was sitting at a campfire, and I don't know if they were playing the guitar, but like you could theoretically sit at a campfire, play the guitar, and it would be cozy, except at that very moment a bolt of lightning came down and killed an NPC who was also sitting at the fire.
Sitting right next to them. Yeah.
There is no cozy. It's an illusion.
It's like you think it's cozy, and then the game's like, bam, right in the face. But no, that's a great part of it, though. No, I think it's a very good nomination, and UE5 has shown up a lot in several categories here, where we're talking about either open world design or graphics, even sound design, and then definitely when it comes to water and water physics, deservedly nominated here. Next up, though, is Astrobot, which is like very different. This is I wouldn't say it's realistic water, but it's stylized to all hell, and you can interact with it, and it's like the animation of the water is very impressive in this game, and like the way I've mentioned it before, like the particle physics in this game are impressive, and that I think it also applies to like the liquid and water in this game. About it, David, do you have anything to chime in about the water in Astrobot? Or
I think it's pretty, and I like to interact with it, but I'm not as impressed with its functionality as I am other nominees in this category.
I think so
But
too, but it
yeah,
looks nice. I think
it
it's
looks
kind of
nice.
it looks nice, and then if you do find yourself in water in the game, it interacts with Astrobot well. Like the physics are
Yeah,
pretty solid, but it's
yeah.
not. I don't think it's better than what Bill was just talking about. Um, but yeah, next nominee is The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Why I brought it up here is that the art style of this game is really impressive. Like I think it's a beautiful looking game, despite it not being maybe the highest fidelity game in this category. But also like you learn how to make cubes of water. Yeah, I don't know what point in the game, but that becomes like a huge part of the problem solving, the puzzle solving, and the locomotion in the game. That you can just build straight up. Like, who needs an old bed when you have 3 cubes of water, right? You can just go straight up. It's like an elevator. And then I found that like the amount of puzzles that were either solved or you progress through them because of the water cube, I think is really impressive. So for me, this is almost the opposite of Bill's nomination, where Bill's nomination was mainly cosmetic, and you guys talked about how the audio design does affect gameplay. But like this is more of a gameplay focused nomination on my part here. That the traversal in the game is changed by the water. And yeah, you can actually swim in this game, and you can dive and go underwater in the game. Not to mention, like, there's side scrolling and top down parts of this game. The side scrolling water parts of this game have some of the best puzzles in the entire game. So I feel like it's just pretty cool on a lot of fronts like that. So yeah, but for me, it's how the water informed the gameplay variety that really led to this nomination, and that is specifically highlighted in how the water cube changes things. But yeah, that's what I had to say about Zelda. And then yeah, I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in about Echoes of Wisdom, feel free. But yeah, and yeah, you literally heal a rat beef between 2 water-dwelling Zora races. So there's that too. There's a lot of water in this game, and there's
the water-based boss fight wasn't terrible, which is a step up from most Zelda games.
I was gonna say that the water-based dungeon Ozzy was good. It's the first water dungeon where I'm like, or water temple where I'm like, I don't hate this at all. I actually like it, and I thought the puzzles in it were really cool. And that's what I was. There's that one. Yeah, you're basically there's this entranceway in the water temple. I don't know if everyone's gotten there or not, but like as you progress through the dungeon, you flood that entranceway, and then at the end of it, you swim all the way up to the top, and that's how you get to the boss battle of the dungeon. So I thought that was a pretty cool mechanic, and it's like similar to the water temples in both in Tears of the Kingdom, and even like the water blight Ganon fight in Breath of the Wild. But yeah, like I felt like the puzzles were more rewarding, and it felt less like side quest checklist than it was like actually logical problem solving. So yeah, I think Zelda does a really good job with its water. Last but not least, Dragon's Dogma 2.
The water in this game is maybe more funny than anything because when you go into the water in Dragon's Dogma 2, there's this thing called the brine, which is like this tentacle creature that'll eventually kill you. But not only you, any NPC companion or monster. And you can throw things that are smaller than you in Dragon's Dogma 2. So you could just take a bunch of like goblins to a cliffside or a beach or near any body of water and just chuck them in and watch them be killed by the brine. And it's definitely not the most efficient way to get rid of enemies, but it is the most enjoyable. And I think on that merit alone, it deserves some recognition here.
Nice.
Every single fight I had near a body of water in this game, like I was angling. I was strategizing to see if I could get an opponent near the bank. So
Yeah.
it's like
this reminds me, I want to give a big compliment here because when you said it's not the most effective strategy, Donovan, but it's the most fun, to draw a comparison, carrying your enemy on horseback to the train tracks and leaving them on it in Red Dead Redemption 2 is not the most efficient, but boy, howdy, is that what's going to happen. So I appreciate that because I'm the kind of person who takes twice as long to play these games because I will walk to that water to throw that NPC in there.
Yeah, and I'm glad TJ made the point too about angling in combat because while you can like throw smaller creatures like goblins, obviously the bigger creatures you can't, but you can knock them over. So if you are fighting like a troll or something, and you're on a cliff and you hit it with like a forceful attack, it'll just fall off a cliff into a river or the ocean or whatever's beneath. It's very fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
No, I think it's a great nomination. TJ, you're about to say something?
oh, I was good. I might save this one for after.
Okay. Oh, now I'm curious, but yeah, we'll save it for after. I'm sure there's a lot of emergent gameplay that comes out of the water in Dragon's Dogma 2, and there's like I guess it's an efficient way to min-max your players. Just when in doubt, throw your enemy in the water instead of using any of your resources. Nice. I guess we should vote. I'm gonna start with Bill.
Sticking to it.
Mm-hmm. Stalker 2. Sam.
This is tough because I really do like a lot of the water in this, but I think the gameplay element of Echoes of Wisdom just edges it out for me.
Yeah, like getting the water cube's a big deal. That changed everything. Steve.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Echoes of Wisdom as well. I mean, pretty much changed the whole game when I got the water. Made things a lot easier.
I mean, there's two echoes that I could probably beat the whole game with: the water cube and the sea urchin. Just spamming sea urchins like it's my job. David.
Another crab's treasure.
Donovan.
Stalker 2.
Danny.
You know, trying to decide here because TJ kind of won me over with the unorthodox water action. Another crab treasure here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that.
Okay, another crab's treasure. Got it. Greg.
Dragon's Dogma 2.
Is that Buffy?
Yeah, she's misbehaving, so I'm trying to keep her distracted.
But you're rewarding her with pets, so she's gonna think.
Well, that's fine, but
misbehaving,
she'll
get
jump up on
pets.
my computer and the shelves and start throwing things around if I don't. She wants to play.
So you're in a hostage situation, basically.
Basically, but she likes it. She's purring. She's happy.
Yeah, she's like, "Do you want me to knock over your Cloud Strife statue again?" Or
She'll
do
go
you wanna
all the
rub
way
my
to the
nose?"
top. I have photo proof, and she'll knock everything over.
Impressive. TJ.
I'm gonna go with another crab's treasure.
Oh. Ozzy.
I'm also going to vote for another crab's treasure.
Wow. This is interesting. Let's see. We have 4 votes. 4 votes for another crab's treasure? 2 votes for Zelda? And 1, 2. Only 2 votes for Stalker 2. And one vote for Dragon's Dogma 2. So my vote does not matter. I can't affect this at all. But in my opinion, I was impressed by Stalker 2's water, so I'm gonna vote for Stalker 2. Even though I made the case for Zelda, I may have made it too good of a case Bill, because 2 people voted for it. But when you're writing into your death notebook tonight, just remember I voted for Stalker 2, Bill.
My
Bill's
Death Note
footage was on
notebook.
point.
What's
Oh,
happening?
wait a
with
minute.
Yeah, all right, that's happening. I want to change my vote. Like,
It's like, shit, wait a second.
Yeah,
hold
I
on,
wasn't
hold
going
on.
to do that, but if it's going to help me win arguments, I might have to
I didn't
start.
realize my life was on the line.
Sorry, I didn't mean to intimidate voters. It's too
Oh
late.
my
I
goodness.
already counted. It's too late.
Don't put that on me. Don't put that on me.
Whoa.
I mean, look. All I'm saying
Bill's
is
just
that-
writing like it's never gonna stop raining around here. Best
Look,
water.
I love what I love, but I hold no one in ill will for what they love.
all I'm saying is like I've followed the storyline of Best Water for the past, I don't know, few weeks here at Shack News, and I'm surprised by the outcome of today's vote. Is all I'm saying. I'm
You heard my vote, Bill. You heard me loud and clear.
I
You
was
heard my
surprised. I
vote.
really thought like, you know what? Honestly, like I think this is an amazing category because on the surface it's funny, but if you actually listen to all the reasons that these things were nominated in the votes, like you can actually take away that there's pretty cool stuff happening with these games and the way they use water.
Water was important in all of these, and yeah, like I do like the narrative undertone of the water in Another Crab's Treasure. Like that is that's like a realistic thing to do.
It's also functional. Like you can do swimming bursts and swimming attacks. Like you use the water,
and it
around
informs all the pickups that you have, like the whole microplastics narrative. Like that's all really on the nose right now. So
And it could have sucked so much. You're talking about making an entire game that's a water level.
yeah,
But it doesn't suck. It's good.
So yeah, I think this is their first win at the Shacknews Awards this year too. So congratulations to Another Crab's Treasure. You win the Shacknews Award for the best water of the year 2024.